The station was silent. Not the normal kind of silence. This silence felt heavy, like something was watching. Far above Earth, in deep space, the massive research station Orion 9 floated like a dead giant. Thousands of aliens from different planets worked there. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, all of them followed one rule. Never go near the curse chamber. No one knew exactly what was inside. But everyone knew what happened to those who tried to enter. They never came back. For years, the chamber stayed locked. The door was made of black metal that no tool could cut. Strange red symbols glowed on it all the time. Even the strongest warriors could not stand near it for long. Their bodies would shake. Their minds would break. Some said it was alive. Some said it was a prison. Others whispered, it was not made by any known species. One day, something unexpected happened. A human arrived. His name was Daniel. He was not a soldier. Not a scientist. Not important. He was just a janitor. Daniel was new on the station. He had simple clothes, messy hair, and a calm face. While others walked with fear and respect, Daniel walked like he didn't care. In his hand he always held something. A sandwich. The aliens found him strange. Humans were rare in space. Most species believed humans were weak, emotional, and useless in advanced systems like Orion 9. But Daniel didn't act like he cared what they thought. He cleaned floors. He fixed small things. And he always ate his sandwich while working. One day, while cleaning a long empty hallway, Daniel saw something unusual. At the end of the hallway stood a large black door. It was different from all other doors. Dark, cold, silent, and glowing with red symbols. Daniel stopped walking. He took a bite of his sandwich. This must be that famous place, he said softly. Behind him, a small alien named Rix suddenly appeared. Stop. Rix's voice was shaking. Don't go near that door. Daniel turned slowly. Why? Rix looked terrified. That is the curse chamber. No one can go near it. Even our strongest warriors failed. Daniel looked back at the door. He took another bite. Looks normal to me. Rix couldn't believe it. Normal. People died there. Daniel shrugged. They probably had bad luck. Rix stepped back. You don't understand. The door reacts to fear. The more fear you have, the stronger it becomes. It destroys your mind. Daniel smiled a little. Good thing I'm not scared then. Rix's eyes widened. No, you don't get it. Even thinking about it makes your brain weak. But Daniel had already started walking. Step by step. Closer to the chamber. The air changed. The temperature dropped. The lights flickered. A deep sound, like a heartbeat, echoed from inside the chamber. Rix fell to the ground. I told you, it's waking up. The red symbols on the door began to glow brighter. They moved, like they were alive. Daniel stood in front of the door now. He looked at it carefully. Then, he took another bite of his sandwich. Nothing happened. Rix slowly looked up. What? Daniel reached out his hand. The moment his fingers touched the door, the entire station shook. Alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed everywhere. Inside the command center, high-ranking alien officers stood up in panic. What is happening? Energy spike detected from the chamber. Impossible. No one is near it. One officer shouted. Wait, there is one life signal. They zoomed in on the screen. A single human. Standing calmly. Eating a sandwich. Back at the chamber, the door started to change. The red symbols stopped glowing wildly. They slowed down. Then they formed patterns. Like they were recognizing something. Daniel tilted his head. Interesting design. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed from the door. Not loud, but powerful. Who enters? Rick screamed. It's talking. Run. But Daniel didn't move. He just swallowed his food and answered calmly. Daniel. Janitor. Silence. Then the voice spoke again. Stronger this time. You are not afraid. Daniel shrugged. Should I be? The door trembled. The symbols glowed softly now. Not aggressive. Not angry. Curious. All who came before you were consumed by fear. Daniel leaned against the wall casually. Sounds like their problem. Rix couldn't believe what he was hearing. No one had ever talked to the chamber before. No one had survived this long. The voice paused, then asked, "Why? Do you approach?" Daniel looked at the door, then at his sandwich, then back at the door. "I was cleaning. Saw the door. Got curious." Silence again. Long silence. Then, something unbelievable happened. The door opened. Slowly. Quietly. Like it had been waiting for him. Rick screamed louder. "No. That's not possible. It never opens." Inside the chamber, darkness moved. Not empty darkness. Alive darkness. Daniel looked inside. For the first time, his expression changed. Just a little. He finished his sandwich, dropped the wrapper, and stepped forward. Behind him, the alarms grew louder. The officers in the control room shouted in panic. "Stop him. Close the chamber. This is a disaster." But it was too late. Daniel walked into the darkness, and the door closed behind him. Everything went silent again. Rix fell to his knees. He's gone. In the control room, no one spoke. They just stared at the screen. One officer whispered, "No one has ever entered and lived." Another one said slowly, "But he didn't look afraid at all." Deep inside the chamber, something ancient had awakened. And for the first time in thousands of years, it was not angry. It was interested. Inside the chamber, there was no light. But it was not fully dark either. The space felt alive, like something was breathing, watching, waiting. Daniel stood still for a moment. His eyes slowly adjusted. The air felt heavy, but not dangerous. Just different. He said softly. "This place needs cleaning." His voice echoed strangely. Not like a normal echo. It came back slower, deeper. As if something was repeating his words. Suddenly the darkness moved. It was not wind. Not smoke. It moved like a living thing. A deep voice filled the chamber again. "You enter without fear." Daniel looked around. "I guess you already said that." Silence. Then the darkness gathered in front of him, forming a shape. Not fully clear, but large. Very large. Two glowing red eyes appeared, floating in the dark, watching him closely. All others trembled. Daniel crossed his arms. "Yeah, I heard. They got scared and died." The eyes glowed brighter. They were not worthy. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Worthy for what? The chamber trembled slightly. The walls, if there were walls, seemed to breathe. Then the voice spoke again. Slow. Heavy. Ancient. "This chamber is not a prison." Daniel stayed quiet, listening. "It is a test." Outside the chamber, chaos continued. In the control room, alarms were still active. Energy readings kept rising. One alien officer shouted, "The chamber is active at full power." Another one said, "That human, he triggered it." The commander stepped forward. Cold voice. Or, the chamber chose him. Back inside, Daniel tilted his head. A test? For what? The red eyes moved closer. Very close now. But Daniel didn't step back. For a guardian. Daniel blinked. A guardian? The darkness shifted again. Now it showed something else. Images. Visions. Daniel suddenly saw stars. Galaxies. Va. Destruction. Entire planets burning. He frowned slightly. Okay, that's not good. The voice continued. Long ago, a power was sealed here. The images changed. A massive creature appeared. Bigger than anything Daniel had ever seen. Made of pure energy and shadow. Destroying fleets. Breaking planets. It could not be destroyed. The creature roared silently in the vision. So, it was locked away. Daniel watched carefully. So it's in here? The red eyes stared at him. Yes. For the first time, Daniel was quiet for longer than usual. But still, he did not look afraid. He sighed softly. All right. Outside, the officers were now arguing. We must destroy the chamber. We can't. It will destroy the station. Then what do we do? The commander looked at the screen. At Daniel. Still calm. Still standing. Wait, the commander said. Something is changing. Inside the chamber, the darkness moved again, now forming a clearer shape. Tall, almost like a throne behind it. The chamber watches all who enter. Daniel nodded slowly. Okay. It feeds on fear. Daniel smiled a little. Yeah, I figured. Those who fear are consumed. The red eyes glowed brighter. Those who do not fear are tested. Daniel looked at the shadow. And if they pass? A long silence. Then the answer came. They become the keeper. The room shook. Energy filled the space. Daniel looked around. Keeper of what? The darkness opened behind the eyes, revealing something deeper. Something locked. Chains. Massive chains made of energy. Holding something. Something alive. A low growl echoed. Deep. Dangerous. Daniel looked at it. Still calm. That thing. Yes. Daniel scratched his head. So, you want me to guard it? Not just guard. The eyes came even closer. Control. Outside, the energy levels spiked again. One officer screamed. The entity inside the chamber is reacting. Another shouted. If it breaks free, everything is over. Back inside, the creature behind the chains moved, pulling against them. The chamber trembled. Daniel watched it carefully, then asked, what happens if no one controls it? The voice answered immediately. It destroys everything. Silence. Daniel looked at the creature again, then at the red eyes. And you think I can control that? You are the first. Who does not fear it? Daniel took a deep breath. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he smiled slightly. Well, that's new. The chamber became quiet. Waiting. Why are you not afraid? The voice asked. Daniel looked down at his empty hands. No idea, he said. I've seen worse. The red eyes flickered. Explain. Daniel thought for a moment. Life on Earth isn't easy, he said. People fight. People struggle. Bad things happen all the time. He looked back at the creature. You either get scared, or you keep going. The chamber listened. Silently. I just keep going, Daniel said. The darkness slowly calmed. The creature behind the chain stopped moving. Just a little. You accept fear, but do not let it control you. Daniel nodded. Something like that. Long silence again. Then the chamber made its decision. You are suitable. The entire space lit up with red energy. Outside, every system on the station went wild. What is happening now? Energy overload. He's activating something. Inside, the chains began to glow. The creature roared. Louder this time. Daniel stood still, watching everything. What is your choice? The voice asked. Accept or leave. Daniel looked at the exit. Far behind him, the door was still there. Then he looked at the creature. If he left, nothing would change. If he stayed, everything would. He took a deep breath, then said quietly, all right, I'll do it. The chamber went silent. For 1 second, everything stopped. Then, the chains exploded with light. The creature's eyes opened wide, and Daniel stepped forward. The chamber exploded with light. Red energy filled every corner. The chains shook violently. The creature inside them roared louder than ever before. Outside the chamber, the entire station was shaking. Alarms screamed. Lights flickered. Energy levels critical. It's breaking free. Evacuate the station now. But the commander didn't move. His eyes were fixed on one screen. Daniel, walking forward. Inside the chamber, the air became heavy, hard to breathe. Even gravity felt strange. But Daniel kept walking, step by step. Calm, slow. The creature's eyes locked onto him, burning red, full of power. You dare come closer? It growled. Its voice was deeper than the chamber itself, like thunder inside a storm. Daniel stopped just a few steps away. He looked up at it. The creature was massive. Even in chains, it felt unstoppable. Daniel spoke simply. Yeah. The creature pulled against the chains. The entire chamber shook again. You will be destroyed. Daniel shrugged slightly. Maybe. For a moment, everything went quiet. Then suddenly, the chain snapped. One. Then another. The creature broke free. Outside, the system detected it instantly. The entity is free. This is the end. Panic spread everywhere. Some aliens started running. Others froze in fear. Inside the chamber, the creature stood fully free now. Tall. Terrifying. Unstoppable. It looked down at Daniel. A tiny human. Standing alone. You chose wrong. The creature raised its massive arm. Energy gathered in its hand. Enough to destroy the entire station. But Daniel didn't move. He just stood there. Looking at it. Are you done? Daniel asked calmly. The creature paused. Confused. You do not fear death. Daniel shook his head. Not really. The creature's energy flickered. Just for a moment. Why? Daniel looked at it carefully. Because fear doesn't fix anything, he said. Silence. The creature lowered its arm slightly. I've seen people panic, Daniel continued. They make things worse. He took one step forward. I've seen people stay calm. Another step. They survive. The chamber itself seemed to listen. The creature stared at him. Its glowing eyes slowly changed. Less rage. More curiosity. You speak as if you understand power. Daniel smiled a little. No, he said. I just understand control. That word echoed. Control. The chains on the ground started glowing again. Not to trap the creature, but to respond. The chamber's voice returned. The power does not belong to the strong. Energy filled the space. IT belongs to the one who can control it. The creature stepped back. Just a little. Daniel raised his hand. Not fast. Not aggressive. Just steady. The energy in the chamber began to move. Slowly. Gently. Like it was listening to him. Outside, the officers stared in shock. Wait, what is happening? The energy, it's stabilizing. Back inside. The creature growled again. But this time weaker. Impossible. Daniel stepped even closer. Now right in front of it. You're not the problem, he said quietly. The creature froze. You're just out of control. Silence. Then something changed. The creature's massive form started to shrink. Slowly. The wild energy around it calmed down. The red glow became softer. The chamber's walls stopped shaking. No one has ever done this, the voice whispered. Daniel lowered his hand. The creature was now smaller. Still powerful. But no longer wild. It looked at Daniel. Not with anger. But with something new. Respect. You control without force. Daniel nodded. Force is easy. He looked around the chamber. Control is harder. The chains lifted from the ground, floating. But they did not attack. They circled slowly. Like guardians. The chamber spoke one last time. The test is complete. A bright light filled the room. You are now the keeper. Outside, everything went silent. No more alarms. No more shaking. The station stabilized. In the control room, no one spoke. They just watched. Daniel standing in the center. Calm. Simple. The creature now beside him. Quiet. Controlled. The commander whispered. A human did this. Back inside, Daniel looked at the chamber. So what now? The voice answered softly. Now. You protect. Daniel sighed. Figures. He looked at the creature. Try not to destroy anything, okay? The creature lowered its head slightly. I will obey. Daniel smiled. Good. The chamber door slowly opened again. Light from outside entered the dark space. Daniel started walking out. Step by step. Just like he walked in. Calm. As if nothing big had happened. As he reached the door, he stopped. Looked back once. The chamber was quiet now. Peaceful. Waiting. Daniel stepped out. The door closed behind him. Outside, soldiers and officers were waiting. No one moved. No one spoke. They all looked at him. The human janitor. Still simple. Still calm. One officer finally asked, "What are you?" Daniel looked at him. Then said simply, "Just a guy who finished his job." And then, he walked away, like it was just another normal day. Far behind him, inside the chamber, the ancient power rested, for the first time in history, not as a destroyer, but as something controlled, because of one human, who walked in, eating a sandwich.